With me now, Andrij Dobriansky, the Director of Communications and Media for the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America. Good morning and welcome back to you as always. A short time before those comments by President Trump, we heard Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth also making some pretty dramatic remarks about the outcome of any peace talks. I know you've heard it, but a reminder for folks at home.
We want, like you, a sovereign and prosperous Ukraine. But we must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement.
Andrij, do you think territorial concessions and no path to NATO membership would be acceptable in any way to Ukraine?
Well, first of all, Ukraine will be a NATO member. All the NATO countries have agreed to this multiple times, and Ukraine has it enshrined in its constitution. So that's not something that everybody else is going to negotiate. Even though Pete Hegseth, who's never done anything with NATO up until a meeting today, where he oddly disparaged other members of NATO as well, I think it relies on the fact that we need a Secretary of Defense who actually goes to the war zone and understands what's happening in Ukraine, as opposed to just seemingly heading to Europe and castigating other defense leaders, people who have accepted more refugees than the United States over the last decade, people who have actually had to fend off tanks, and compare that somehow to Venezuelan grandmothers attempting to cross the border. It lacked dignity. It was not where America was first for the last 4 years and leading those contact group meetings. So we have yet to see what happens once Trump, once Pete Hegseth, once other members of the administration, apart from the Treasury Secretary, visit Ukraine to understand the situation on the ground.
Focusing on President Trump, Andrij, President Trump said and sidestepped a direct question about whether Ukraine would be an equal member in the peace process. Your reaction to that?
Well, it's what Europe is reacting to this morning. Follow those comments by not just President Trump, but Pete Hegseth today, not only at the contact group yesterday, but this morning meeting at NATO headquarters. Again, there is the realization that this administration does not understand what it is to work in partnership and what it is to have a multilateral, multi-nation accord. So the one thing that people are reacting here in the United States is obviously President Trump is seemingly willing to talk to Russia first and Ukraine second. And so people wonder if Ukraine's being cut out. Well, the honest reality is the future of Ukraine is tied in with the future of Europe. And it seems like he is also seeming to jump over the voices of European countries who in total have given more to Ukraine, in total have accepted more refugees. And so their voice is very important as well. And yet they are not being involved in these consultations.
Can Ukraine achieve what it wants to in any sort of an agreement moving forward without U.S. support?
Ukraine is going to continue on as Ukraine for as long as people have the free will to continue. So whatever happens in the United States, and Ukraine firmly believes that United States has been a partner, is a partner, and will continue to be a partner. And that's why you see things like innovative deals being made about rare earth minerals, giving Donald Trump that home run that he wanted when he said he wanted Greenland or the Panama Canal, which aren't realistic goals. But he can secure the future of American technological superiority with this $500 billion deal with Ukraine that is a win-win for both sides. So there's lots of things to be worked out in the coming months. I think the best thing for President Trump to do is not follow the Obama playbook. He followed the Obama playbook in the first term, which is disengagement or not visiting Ukraine. Biden reversed that by being more engaged as well as visiting Ukraine. I think President Trump has a choice of if he wants to be the next President Obama or something greater.
President Trump has recently just described the brutality of this war and how many people have been killed. And even if those numbers are more than we know, what does the landscape of the battlefield look like right now in Ukraine and for the people living there and waking up there every day?
Well, first, a reminder to our American audience that Ukraine is the largest nation in Europe. So having just returned from Ukraine with a delegation of several Americans who did not understand how long it was just to come from the border to the capital city, whether you take a train or a car, it takes forever to get there. If something's happening in Cincinnati, in the people of New Haven don't necessarily worry about an explosion happening there. Similar in Ukraine, there are areas that are under hot rocket attack on a daily basis, and then there might be states, like when I was escorting some people doing physical exercises for children outside on a football field, where all of a sudden in the middle of the day there was an air raid and people needed to be reminded to take shelter. That's a daily occurrence in some places. That's a more than daily occurrence in other places. And when Russia really decides to do something, and I would warn everybody that this is the anniversary month of the war, and as we've had for the first 2 anniversaries, this is the 3rd anniversary, we will get increased rocket strikes, including similar to the one where Russia launched $1 billion of rockets and drones against Ukraine in one night last year on the anniversary month.
Yeah, 3 years we mark soon, and we were on the air that night when we saw the Russian troops moving in the tanks towards Kyiv. Andrij, thank you as always. Good to see you.
Thank you.